Hi there, I am the book lady, and I bring 2 books to read to you, and then we talk about them a little bit. And I brought 2 winners. I think you're gonna really like these books. Now, first book is called Watercress. It's by Andrea Wang. Watercress is like a plant, and you can pick it and eat it. And guess what? I brought some watercress. See? Kind of like parsley. Watercress. Oh, we're going to like that book. Now, this book, part of the reason I pulled this book off the shelf, it looks like a tray, doesn't it? But look, that's how it opens. And a lion in Paris. Oh, there I am. Don't you love this? And the pictures in it are big. They're almost like posters. Look at that lion. This is fun. All right, why don't we start with watercress? Oh, that's a pretty color. Now, do you see that? It's just out in the country on a road. It happens to be in Ohio. We are in the old Pontiac. That's a kind of car. The red paint, faded by years of glinting Ohio sun, pelting rain, and biting snow. You know, she doesn't look very happy in this picture. Let's find out why. The tops of the corn stalks make lines that zigzag across the horizon. Mom shouts, "Oh, look!" And the car comes to an abrupt, jerking stop. Mom's eyes are as sharp as the tip of a dragon's claw. Dad's eyes grow wide. "Watercress!" they exclaim. 2 voices, heavy with memories. From the depths of the trunk, so they get out of the car and they open the trunk, they unearth a brown paper bag, rusty scissors, and a longing for China. See, they are Chinese. They were born, raised in China, and they're having, this picture is a memory. They're remembering China. They haul us out of the back seat. We're told to untie our sneakers, peel off our socks, and roll up our jeans. We have to help them gather it. Oh, the water in the ditch is cold. It stings my ankles, and the mud squelches up between my toes. Ugh. A car passes by. I duck my head, hoping it's no one I know. She's a little bit embarrassed about what they're being made to do. My parents cut bunches of the small plant, long stringy stems with leaves round as coins. Yeah, they are. My big brother yanks watercress up by the handful, roots dripping with water, onto my shirt and thrusts it close to my face. There are tiny snails clinging to the underside because it sort of grows in water. I think that's probably how it got its name, watercress. Ooh, I squirm away. The bag in my hands grows heavier and heavier, and with the weight of all that watercress. Well, the paper is soaked, and I'm half afraid, half hopeful, that the bottom will split, sending all the plants back down into the muck. See, she has mixed feelings. She kind of wishes the bag would just break. Finally, we load everything. The soggy bag, my sopping shirt, our sodden selves into the car and head home. Our original destination is long forgotten. A memory, there's that word again, of something unfinished. On the dinner table that night is a dish of watercress, glistening with garlicky oil and freckled with sesame seeds. The mud and the snails are long gone, but I still don't want to eat it, any of it. Boy, and she has a mean look on her face. I only want to eat vegetables from the grocery store. Mom and Dad press me to try some. It's fresh, Dad says. It's free, Mom says. I shake my head. Free is bad. Free is hand-me-down clothes and roadside trashy furniture, and now dinner from a ditch? Mom sighs and disappears into her room, returning with an old photo. And she shows the photo. I brought an old photo. My family, she says, from before. We stare. Mom never talks about her China family. She points to a small boy as thin as a stem of watercress. My little brother, your uncle. We hold our breaths. Mom never told us what happened to him. During the Great Famine back in China. Now, do you know what a famine is? No food. There's just no food. We ate anything we could find. But it was still not enough. And this is kind of a sad picture. There they are. Mother, father, that's her mother, and that would be her uncle. But in this picture, we see that the little boy is missing. I look from my uncle's hollow face to the watercress on the table, and I am ashamed of being ashamed of my family. I take a bite of the watercress, and it bites me back with its spicy, peppery taste. It's delicate and slightly bitter, like Mom's memories of home. Together, we eat it all and make a new memory of watercress. Now, the author left us a note, and I wanted to read that to you. She says this: This story is about the power of memory, not just the beautiful memories, like the ones my mother and father had about eating watercress in China, but also the difficult ones, the memories that are sometimes too painful to share. It starts with my own distressing memory of being made to pick watercress that was growing wild by the side of the road. As the child of Chinese immigrants, growing up in a small, mostly white town in Ohio, I was very aware of how different my family and I were from everyone else. It's hard to feel like you don't belong. And collecting food from a muddy roadside ditch it just made that bad feeling more intense for me. Something my very practical parents didn't understand. When I was young, my parents didn't talk about their memories of China, of growing up poor, of losing siblings. She lost her brother, and surviving war. I don't blame them. These are difficult topics to discuss with children. But it's important, too, for children to understand their family history. Perhaps if I had known about the hardships they had faced, I would have been more compassionate as a child. Maybe I would have felt more empathy and less anger, more pride in my heritage and less shame. Memories have the power to inform, to inspire, and to heal. This story, Watercress, is both an apology and a love letter to my parents. It is also an encouragement to all children who feel different and to families with difficult pasts. Share your memories. Tell your stories. They are essential. This is a wonderful book. Do you understand? This young lady, she was finding difficult because she was probably the only Chinese girl in her town. So she wanted to act like everybody else and just forget about her parents, just wipe that out. And then when her parents made her stop and pick watercress on the side of the road, she was just mortified. And so then when they serve it up for dinner, don't you like that look? Look at her face. She wants food from the grocery store. But the watercress was a memory very much in her parents' head and heart. And that's the thing about memories. Yes, they're in your head and your heart. And sometimes it is difficult to talk about some things. But once you start talking about them, you learn. And it's probably never quite as bad as you thought. And it's important. It helps you figure out more about you, that watercress, and then the story that came with it, and the picture. And you know, many of these pictures, these old pictures, are black and white. Do you see that? They're not in color. But it's important to know about these people. And what spurred the memory was just watercress. But it wasn't in a bag. It was growing on the side of the road. I wish I could have found some on the side of the road to bring to you, but it didn't work out that way. All right, now for something entirely different. A lion in Paris. Now this is going to be harder for me to read just because, and you know, it starts out with, on the cover, what's that? That's a map of Paris. Let's see what happens here. And the pages are thicker on this, in this book. He was a big lion, a young, curious, and lonely lion. He was bored at home on the grasslands, and so one day he set off to find a job, love, and a future. He arrived in Paris by train without any luggage. It was the first time he had been in a big city. Naturally, it was a little scary, and Paris is a big city. The lion waited to see if he would terrify anyone. He wondered if people would start screaming, if they would, step aside in horror as he passed, or if they would pursue him with rifle shots. And I love that picture because I love the way his eyes are kind of looking around. The people were hurrying around with a strange kind of sword under their arms, but nobody thought about attacking him. That surprised him. Well, I'm going to show you this picture. Those are not swords under their arms. Those are long loaves of bread called baguettes. They're long. They're about that round. And you have one in your house all the time. It's like you have bread, right? Puzzled, the lion went down to the metro. Now, the metro is the underground subway. It's like a train that's underground. The people on the platform hardly even glanced at him. So then he roared very loudly to make them turn around and look at him. Roar! Yeah, it looks like they kind of went, yeah, whatever. More than anything, the lion liked to be noticed, and he thought it was very sad to be ignored. There they are on the metro, and nobody cares about him. When he went out into the street, it started to rain. That made him think of his lovely sunny grasslands, and he felt sad. He turned all gray and shiny, like the roofs around him. Aww. In the middle of a square, he saw a huge factory with workers going up and down in a transparent, that means see-through, pipe. The sun came out again, making the building explode into 1,000 stars of light. He stood there gaping at it. Do you know what gaping is? That's gaping. It's kind of like staring, but the lion walked along a river, probably the Seine River, and it cuts the city right in half. Well, and the river smiled at him like a mirror. That's because he sees his reflection. We've read some other books that referred to the reflection. It's when you look in the water and you can see yourself. At last, a girl noticed him, and her eyes followed him for a while with a loving, tender look. Well, I'll show you that one too. That is a famous painting. It's not very large. It's called the Mona Lisa. And people claim if you go and see the Mona Lisa, no matter where you stand, it looks like her eyes are following you. But she doesn't turn her head because she's paint. I've seen the Mona Lisa. I was very surprised that it's not a huge painting. The lion's heart was beating very fast as he continued his long walk. At the top of an endless flight of steps, he saw a white castle. "It looks like a cream cake, doesn't it?" said an old lady, smiling at him. "Grrr," replied the lion. They went back down all the steps together. Do you notice that she is riding the lion. Then he came to an enormous iron tower, and he trembled with fear. He climbed right to the top, and the people down below, oh, they looked like ants. He absolutely loved it. And I like this picture because, do you see him at the top? And the artist has made it look like the wind is blowing his mane. The mane is all that hair around a lion, the male lion. See, it's blowing. Oh, my. The city that had appeared so dreary and frightening and gray in the morning now seemed to be smiling at him with all its windows. That's a happy picture. At a big crossroads, he stopped abruptly. There was a beautiful plinth. Now that's a word we don't use very much. Plinth. It's hard to say. Standing in front of him, the lion climbed up onto it, put his two paws together, and gave out a loud roar of joy. Roar! Then hundreds of cars tooted their horns to welcome him. Let me show you what the plinth is. The plinth is this. It's the base. It's the base of a statue. And he just climbed up there. Oh boy. This is the place for me, thought the lion, grinning. Oh, he looked into the distance, and guess what? He decided to stay, perfectly still and happy. And then, look at this page. The end. But I want you to see this page again. Perfectly still and happy. Did you like that book? I like that book. I found this book in the library, and they had to put it in the library that way instead of that way, because the shelves would not let a book that tall in. So it was put in like that. But it even stuck out because look, it really is like a tray. I could put 4 cups of tea on that and carry it. But I just loved the illustrations. Yes, you know what those are. That's the grown-up word for the pictures, the drawings. And the story, the thing is, there is a statue in Paris that has a big lion. And so I love that, well, here's what the author put. The lion in this story was inspired by the statue of a lion in Place d'Enfer Rocher in Paris. It was erected by an architect, and his last name is Bartholdi, between 1876, and 1880. I wondered why the Parisians are so fond of the lion. This is what the author said. I think it's because he looks very happy where he is. So you can write a book. The way you can get an idea for a book, and who knows, you may someday want to write a book. You can do something based on truth, something that really is, like Ms. Wang here wrote about watercress, and this was a true story that happened in her family, right? Well, This one isn't as true, but it's based on something that's true. There is a statue in Paris with a big happy lion on it. And this author decided to create a story around the statue. You know, you could go to a park and sit in the park for a couple of hours and notice things. And you might even take notes. There's someone on the swing set. Oh, look at that. There's a dog. And the dog's just watching that little girl on the swing set. Or, look, there's another dog, and he's watching his friend come down the slide and go back up and then down the slide. And you could turn that into a story where the dog is telling the story. See, writing a book, you can write about ordinary things. I brought an ordinary book. I'm not sure we're going to have time to read it, but even the title of it is very ordinary. In fact, many of you will be able to read this title because it's 4 words, but they're pretty easy words. Can you tell what that says? A tree is nice. So what if you were going to write a book about a tree? What would you say? You could write the whole book like the tree is telling the story. I'm a tree. I am an oak tree. I live in Bobby's backyard. And you can talk about losing your leaves, growing acorns, how you love it when your leaves change color in the fall, and what strong wood, you're made from very strong wood. You can talk about a big storm came and blew off one of your branches. Ugh, kind of hurt a little, but I'm okay. See, you can tell a story in so many ways. And many times, people do it from a little bit of something that's true. And then they build on it. Oh, I have a feeling you can be a storyteller. You could be an author. You know what an author is. The author is the person who wrote the book. And the illustrator is the artist who made the pictures. And sometimes the author and the illustrator are the same person. Whoa, someone who can write and draw. Woo! Fortunately, really all I can do is read. I'm really glad you came to see me today. And remember, the Book Lady is on YouTube, so you can read books 24/7, all day, every day. And you can tell your friends anywhere that they too can enjoy the books that the Book Lady brings. Oh, this has been lots of fun. I think I'll go back to the library and find some more books, and I might have me a little more watercress. I'm the Book Lady. Bye-bye.